Hello and welcome back to my videos. I'm Klepik and today I decided I would try to draw with food coloring. So this is just a little experimental video I wanted to try. There's not really any grand drawing or anything. This is just me doodling foods in my sketchbook and hoping they look decent enough for video. And also hoping that this food coloring isn't a huge mistake and that I can actually paint something decent with it. So the other day I was in art class and my friends and I were talking about watercolor. Since my friend wasn't experienced at all in paints in general, since they usually use colored pencils, I think, they were asking for help on how to use watercolors. So the art teacher ended up giving them these giant bottles of liquid watercolor, like giant freaking bottles of liquid watercolor that nobody can ever possibly go through. And after I tried to drink one of them and my friends told me that they didn't taste good from experience, this got us on the topic of how similar they were to food dye, apparently. Which got me thinking, can you paint with food dye? By the time I actually brought this question up to my friends, I was already set on experimenting with food coloring myself, so I decided I would figure out a way to make food coloring a painting medium. So that brings us here to this video. Just some background. So, Wednesday night. Wednesday night is when I decided to paint food with food dye. Get it? I thought I was pretty clever coming up with the subject for my paintings for this video. Personally, painting food with food dye, you know? Luckily for me, I have a 4-day weekend at the time of painting this, which by the way was like months ago, but we're not going to talk about that. So I could stay up late and work on this even though I painted this on a Wednesday night, which was months ago, guys. My videos are so out of whack. Okay, so I've been wanting to paint food for a while, honestly. Sometimes when scrolling through Pinterest, I see these really cute and really aesthetic paintings of food that people do, and it really inspires me. But I've never painted food before, and I've never actually had much motivation to do these besides seeing these paintings on Pinterest. So these paintings are not only in a medium I've never tried before, but also a subject matter that I've never tried before. Yay! Risk-taking! We love to see it. So as you can see on screen now, before I actually started painting, I quickly made a Pinterest board full of foods that I wanted to paint. I just went on Pinterest and searched up like aesthetic food, kawaii food, and just got all the like cutest foods I could find with like silly little faces on them. I also tried to get some foods from some shows, like later you'll see fin cakes from Adventure Time if you've ever seen this before. I painted those were pretty cute. So as for actually painting, it honestly wasn't that different at all from watercolor. I'd say these colors are way more pigmented than any watercolor I've ever tried before, which is like 2 brands. One of them was really bad. So it was a bit difficult to get light shades because it took a lot of watering down to get those light colors. Mixing was also pretty interesting too. I'm used to only having red, yellow, and blue paints to work with, but mostly with gouache, not with watercolor, since I honestly don't really work with watercolor as much as I'd like to. And honestly, since those are the only colors I use when painting with gouache, again, like I said, and I just mix them, so that wasn't really a huge shock to me, only having like the primary colors to mix. What was a huge shock though was how little color it took to completely change a color I was trying to mix. Like, I would have a whole little mixing bowl completely full of yellow, and I'd add the absolute tiniest, and I mean tiniest, drop of a different color like blue, then bam, it was a completely different color. It turned so green or so red, way too dark of a color, way too quickly, so I'd have to start over sometimes and really try my best to get as little food dye on my brush as possible when mixing. These paintings were also a huge trust in the process for me. Like, half of the time I was staring at the paintings while working on them just thinking, what am I wasting my time on with these? These look like absolute ass cheeks right now. But moral, there's going to be a moral of the story. I kept layering on the colors, and eventually I think I got them all looking pretty decent for a first time of painting food and a very first time painting with food dye. Moral of the story, don't give up. Persevere. When you think it looks like ass cheeks, just keep layering. Just keep putting paint on there until you can't put paint on there anymore. It'll get better. Trust the process. I think somewhere in the video I ended up switching from sketching with a regular pencil to a colored pencil, or at least by the time I wrote this script, I hoped I switched to a color pencil, which helped a lot because with the regular pencil, it just looked really bland and kind of ugly, but the addition of a colored pencil added more color and made the lines pop out more, which was good. And the normal pencil kind of dejected me a little, not gonna lie, because it just made the drawings look way worse. I think the regular pencil was a huge contributor to my why do these look so bad so far while working on these, because I had an especially tough time working on that egg sandwich in the video. Honestly, I just kept trying to layer yellow for the scrambled eggs and it would not look good, but in the end it looked good. It looked okay. It didn't really look like the reference, but does that matter? No. You don't even know what the reference looks like, so how can you judge and be like, that doesn't look like the reference, if you don't even know what the reference is? I will not be showing the reference. Later, I went back and added some green to the painting too, and I think that did really help. So just like adding a variation to just like layers upon layers of yellow, just adding a different color, I think that helped. One thing I do like in a lot of these drawings are the shadows. I did a thing where I put a yellowy color in the shadow nearest the food and then a more muted color the further it got away. And I did this while the food dye was still drying, so they kind of mixed together and created a gradient after they dried. And that's like a really specific thing to like about these drawings, but I think they turned out good. Guys, I think these paintings made me so hungry, it's not even funny. Actually, no, I don't think I know. Before scrolling on Pinterest, I did not crave a strawberry shortcake cake. After that was all I could think about for like a week. I had to beg hands and knees for my, not really, they would have made it for me anyway, even if I didn't ask. I had to like ask a lot from my partner to make me a strawberry shortcake cake because they like to bake every weekend, and I was like, please, strawberry shortcake cake, please. Anyway, I got one on Monday, so that was pretty epic. Monday a couple weeks ago, because this video schedule is so out of whack, guys. Alright, I think that is all I have to say about these food drawings. You should honestly try drawing with food coloring. It sounds awful. It genuinely sounds awful. I was thinking like, how the fart is this gonna work, guys? I don't think this is gonna work. I think I'm gonna make a mess and I'm gonna dye my clothes. But no, I didn't make a mess at all. I didn't dye my clothes. And I think they turned out really well. Honestly, they're low-key better than watercolors. Or like, I think the pigmentation helps a lot. They're so pigmented, guys. But I think you should try them out. They're really similar to watercolor. I low-key prefer them to watercolor, if I'm being so honest. But my opinion might be so weird and wrong, but you should totally try them. If you did like the video, you should definitely consider liking, commenting, or even subscribing. And with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Not goodbye yet, because I wanted to add a quick thank you, because at the time of recording this, it's been like 3 days since I posted my last video. I still need to edit this video, obviously, but I've like almost doubled my follower count from the latest crayon video I posted. I went from 390, I think, to like 660 right now it's sitting at, I think. That's insane. Thank you so much. I hope it continues to grow. I keep checking it and I'm like, whoa, it grew. Anyway, thank you so much. I feel really special right now. Now I can wish you a great rest of your day and say goodbye.